What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Sean Ford, aka Big Kill Street. And tonight, the crazies are at it again. Unfortunately, I believe it was yesterday, possibly the day before, depending on when I upload this video. There was another shooting in Louisville, Kentucky. I mean, I really don't know what to say about it exactly. I haven't gotten a chance to watch a full video explaining all the details, so just give me 1 second and I will literally flash over to after I've watched the video, because this isn't gonna be a reaction today. We're just gonna do a short bit of talking and I'll give you some of my thoughts on the situation. And yeah. Maybe I will cut the video, and just so you guys can get a good idea of what I look at myself. So just give me a second before I get there. Can't forget the meal prep. And this is a heavy topic, don't get me wrong. I'm not smiling or anything like in disrespect. I'm just trying to keep everything lighthearted, you know. As it has been lately. So I can get this to focus a little more. We got our ground turkey and vegetables, mostly broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, things like that. Some squashes in there. And let's just get right to it.
Good evening once again. I'm Stephanie Rule. We start this evening's broadcast in Louisville, Kentucky, where at least 5 people were killed and 8 others injured in yet another mass shooting. My colleague Maggie Vespa has the details.
Tonight, chaos and carnage gripping another American city.
Let's be clear about what this was. This was an evil act of targeted violence.
The familiar terror unfolding in downtown Louisville, Kentucky. Around 8:30 this morning, police say a lone gunman opened fire inside this Old National Bank.
This was terrifying. It was terrifying.
Officers on the scene within 3 minutes. Investigators say this was not a random act.
White male who was employed at Old National Bank. His weapon of choice was a rifle.
Authorities identifying the shooter as Connor Sturgeon, who died at the scene in a shootout with police. He live streamed the rampage, according to investigators, who late today executed a search warrant on his home. Victims range in age from 40 to 64, including 63-year-old Thomas Elliott, the bank's senior vice president, according to his LinkedIn account, and a friend of Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear.
Tommy Elliott helped me build my law career, helped me become governor, gave me advice on being a good dad.
And it is not just Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear. Florida Senator Rick Scott also knew one of the victims of today's shooting. And Tennessee Governor Bill Lee also lost a personal friend in the Covenant School mass shooting just 2 weeks ago. But real reaction and real action on the federal level for gun safety remains out of reach as the protests continue across the country. We are still following the story of former Tennessee state representatives Justin Pearson and Justin Jones, who were both expelled for peacefully protesting gun violence in the House chamber last week. Jones joined my colleague, Reverend Al Sharpton, on Easter Sunday to remind all of us what's at stake.
What the Republicans attempted to do here in Tennessee was crucify democracy. And instead what they have done is resurrect a movement led by a multiracial coalition of young people to really transform our state and in so doing transform the nation. The expulsion vote set a very dangerous precedent. It was extreme. It reminded us of days in our history that we don't want to go back to. And it was really an assault on the vision of our future that these young people are trying to push for, which is a future free from these mass shootings, a future free from the terror of weapons of war on our street.
The Nashville Metro Council voted this afternoon to reinstate Justin Jones until a special election can happen later this year.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would like to nominate Representative Justin Jones.
If you are for the election of Justin Jones to be the interim successor for the vacant seat of Tennessee House District 52, you will vote aye. If not, you will vote no. Ayes 36, no 0, no.
So let's talk about this. obviously I decided to cut the video in because it wasn't long. It was a little 3-minute video just so you guys could have a little understanding of your own before I inject my opinion into this. Now, if you ask me, this is hammering home the reason why we need to arm more people. We need to arm more citizens, more responsible citizens, more law-abiding citizens, more people who are willing to protect others if need be. We're not looking for vigilantes. We don't want Batmans and Robins. We want good Samaritans willing to stop these psychos, because that's what it is. These people are psychotic. This is the second instance I've heard of in the past, year or two. Somebody's going somewhere and killing people, shooting people to death, and videotaping it. And let's not even get into the last one, because that was racially based. In an area where the shooter himself remarked that, hey, the gun laws are so strict there, I knew that I would face little resistance as far as me going into a public place and shooting people. The odds of somebody having a weapon are way lower. That's why he went and did it. And this is what I mean. These criminals are very aware of what they're doing. They're very cognizant of the law and where the law's arm stretches and blocks the general populace from essentially being able to protect themselves. You're talking about 5 people got killed in this shooting here. I don't even remember the name of the shooter in this instance, and it's not important. You feel me? It's not important, at least not to me, and it really shouldn't be to other people. And 8 other people got I'm assuming shot, it says injured, but shot in the process of 5 other people being killed. You're talking about older people. You know what I'm saying? People who managed to live 40, 50, 60 years just to fucking die like that? To get shot by some random, I hate to use the term soy boy, but you gotta be some sort of level of bitch to even get to thinking, yeah, let me just go shoot people. Or, I don't condone any sort of violence from anyone towards other people unless it is required to protect yourself, or I don't want to necessarily say as a direct response, but I do believe in, hey, if somebody smacks you, fucking smack them back. You know what I'm saying? It might not be the Christian way, an eye for an eye, but that's just what the world we live in. The shooter, he was killed. I got a couple of notes here. That's why you see me looking down. The guy, he was killed in a shootout with police at the end of it. So I'm assuming this was, and this is an assumption, that's what I'm saying. I'm assuming, obviously, right? I'm assuming this was a suicide by cop situation. I want to say that, and I guess, a lot of these guys get it in their head like, oh, I want to take a couple guys with me type time, where, a couple people with me, innocent people. I want to hurt people. I want people to hurt as much as I'm hurt. I want people to feel as badly as I do. And it's a shame that it has to go that far for some people. You know what I mean? I'd say I feel bad for the shooter's family, but a lot of details that people tend to ignore in these cases is, yes, I realize that some people face mental issues, and I recognize this, but on the same type tip, these people raised this guy, and this is essentially what they raised him into. And whether that's through abuse or neglect, which I view as a form of abuse, and in some cases can be even worse than, you know what, everything is bad. I'm not even gonna say worse. But you know, some guys are really so hell-bent on getting attention that, as ridiculous as it sounds, they'll go as far as to do something like this, just to have that ultimate, like, hey, you know, mom and dad, you know, fuck you, and this is for not paying attention to me, this is for ignoring me all that time. Every time I attempted to let you know that I had a problem, morning. Every time I attempted to let you know that I had a problem or a pressing issue that I wanted to bring up emotionally, mentally, whatever, it was ignored or pushed down or minimized or not taken seriously. And some people get to the point, unfortunately, that something as drastic and destructive and mind-blowingly life-changing for sometimes a small group of people and sometimes a large amount of people has to happen just to give the world that ultimate fuck you. I want everybody to hurt. I want people to hurt like I hurt, and I don't want to live anymore. So I'm gonna shoot it out with the cops and end my life that way. You know, hopefully I could take a cop or two with me or whatever these guys are thinking. It's unfortunate. I also want to touch on where they try to inject the bullshit. So the bullshit, by which I mean, is I'm getting tired of seeing these people using what I personally like to call these black puppets to perpetuate certain ideals and policies. What do you mean, Mr. Killstreak? Mr. Ford, what do you mean? What I mean is, this Justin Jones fella, I don't know very much about him, if anything at all. All I could see was that he was on there, black as ever, of course, and then you got your other black sheep, that's what I like to call it, black sheeple, who don't pay any sort of attention to what really matters and what this shit really means. And they get behind a guy like this who's talking like, I hate to say it like this, Omega level bitch, my dude, we both black, my nigga. Weapons of war on our streets. You sound like a bitch, my dude, my nigga. Yeah, life is war. We need these weapons to protect ourselves against motherfuckers like you in the government and against criminals that are walking around out here with the same types of weapons. If a dude who's willing to go shoot up a mall can get a fucking Draco and an AR, which he can, regardless of your stupid ass laws, why can't I? To protect myself and my people against that person. No. Just take all the weapons from the innocent people and the people willing to protect, and let all the villains and the fucking bad guys have them, because they're gonna have them regardless. I just watched another video, and I'm sure a couple of you saw it as well, with some, I forget if he was like a sheriff or a police chief. He said it just as good as anybody the fuck else. Gun laws or gun control ain't gonna stop criminals from getting fucking guns. We've been over this. It's not gonna stop them. It's not gonna change shit. It's gonna make shit worse. What do you think happened, for the best example I can give you, in Gotham when motherfuckers start figuring out Batman wasn't coming? The crime rate went up because Batman not coming. Nobody gonna protect nobody. So the villains the bad guys can run around and do whatever they fucking want because they have the guns and none of us do. Ridiculous. I'm back to what I was saying, the black puppets, being guys like this Justin Jones, rallying other black sheeple together to get behind this whole ban the guns bullshit. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Get the fuck out of here. All the rest of you motherfuckers too, all you, I hate using labels, but that's the label they're using. Democrats, I almost said Dominicans like a dickhead. Democrats, or whoever else is behind it, trying to take our fucking guns away. The biggest lie that was ever perpetuated in the black community is that we should be voting Democrat. Are you fucking people serious? The Democrats are the reason we depend on the government. Homie, Republicans, whether a Republican is racist or not, has nothing to do with the party. The Republican Party does not want us depending on the government for fucking food, money, nothing, which is what we need. Our community is too dependent on the government. This is why we don't have nothing, and this is why when shit happens to us, nothing is done. You're dependent on people who don't give a fuck about you to help you. Stupid. More guns, less dependence. Independence is what we need. The Declaration of Independence, not the declaration of depend on the government. Get the fuck out of here. It's there to combat tyranny. Tyranny in all forms. A wolf can wear sheep's clothing and say it's a sheep, but if you believe it for long enough and it eats you, it doesn't matter after that. For lack of a better metaphor to use or whatever, these motherfuckers are wolves in sheep's clothing among you sheeple, eating, ravenously, unchecked. Because look at this shit that you guys are perpetuating out here. Come on, man. I have a right to protect my family and the people around me. It's just that simple. Why do y'all keep trying to take the guns away? I know why. I'm not gonna get into why. I've briefly explained why. But really think about whether it makes sense to disarm the public or to bring down the level of arms. I understand, hey, your average Joe can't have a fucking tank or a fucking 50 caliber sniper or some crazy a mounted machine gun on his truck. That makes sense. By all means, we don't need that. Even though we really pretty much do, but we're not gonna get into that. But you can't take the assault weapons away. That doesn't make any motherfucking sense. You can't take the ammo round. You can't limit the ammo rounds. It doesn't make any motherfucking sense. It's just, come on, make it make sense, guys. Make it make sense, people. But, I mean, oh yeah, I wanted to touch on that too. There was also another shooting. It was, I believe, in a mall, possibly at an Apple store. I don't have the full information on that either. I don't think anyone was killed, but I believe 3 people were shot at the very least, and that you got some other people who were injured in the process. How many more of these shootings is it going to take for you people to snap out of this bullshit? Because what they're trying to do is use the shootings to justify taking the guns, which doesn't even make fucking sense. Come on, man. This has been 3 a.m. Meal Prep Talks. And y'all have a fantastical day and night. I'm not the black off 'em. You don't wanna hear that Mac talking. All these niggas, they be trash talking. Pussy boy, you not a friend of me.